Welcome back. I know it's been a little bit since I've updated this, but was still trying to dial things in, and I didn't want to make too many updates that I was going to have to go back and start back over. So now that I finally got some of the equipment that I've been waiting on for my solar, I was just going to go over the steps as far as connecting everything. So as you can see behind me are 4 lithium ion batteries. I used to have the deep cycles, marine deep cycles, but it just wasn't getting like those. If you imagine all of them hooked up in a series, they are like a well, and you're trying to just sip from the top of the well. And once it got below like 50%, you would lose the amount of power they could push, and you would have to recharge them before you could use them again. So these lithium ions you can almost drain, and hopefully with 8 solar panels that I have above, it'll charge these on a daily, and hopefully it's going to be it's really just trial and error, because depending on how many things we have and what we're trying to power, refrigerator, lights, things like that, and how many batteries we're going to need, because you got to factor in like cloudy days as well, so that really plays a big difference. So gonna take you through the parts real quick, and then we're gonna go through on how to hook them all up. All right, right here is the charge controller. That is where the solar panels connect into, and that connects to the batteries. And then here I have my 4 lithium ion batteries. First need to connect these all together, and then connect these to the power converter. Very important that these go into the power converter first before the solar panel goes into those, because that thing's not meant to handle power on its own. It needs something to put the power into the batteries. So that is what we're going to do first. So we're going to link these up. Now I'm going to hook the batteries up to the charge controller. First, putting in my positive. Just give it a little more tightly put on. Now we got to turn these batteries on. So there's a little uplink cable that'll go right in here. Let's put it inside there. Little blue light. Battery is now on. Now we can unhook that. Do the next one. All right, now the batteries are hooked up. We can see that they got power, and we can go through the settings here, and it'll tell me all the different charges. Those batteries are 97%, which is wonderful. That means we can get right to work. So now we're going to go up there and hook up the solar. Here's the solar panels. So we're going to get up there on the roof, and we're going to make sure that these are all connected up in a proper series and parallel setup. All right, we're up on the roof and looking down here at the battery, or the solar panels. I've got 8 panels, which the charge controller can really only handle 8 for the size I have at the moment. Slowly working on upgrading everything as we go along, but like I said, it's a trial and error, figure out how much we need. Now the solar panels can be done in series and parallel. The batteries, I believe, are only parallel. What that means is this panel is connected in parallel to that panel, so this one just goes into that one, into that one, and into that one. But when you do them in parallel and series, these 2 are connected, and then they're connected down, and then the last 2 are connected to complete like opposite ends. So there's plenty of diagrams that'll show all kind of different ways to line up these panels, but it's just pretty easy. It's pretty simple as far as just, they just connect right over. Super simple hookup. And so now just finishing that up. Well, now that we've got the solar panels all hooked up in series and parallel, we can now put the solar panel, the wires, the power wires into the charge controller, and that way it'll start charging the batteries. So my short wire here is my positive, so that will go in first. Let's see if I can back this up just a little bit. All right, now let's see if we can get that in there. At least by the directions. Let's always get that positive in first, and then we'll do the negative after. All right, that's in, firm. Give these a good twist. Make sure it's nice and snug. And we'll get the negative in now. All right, just tighten that up. And this thing should be charging up shortly as soon as it reads the panels. And let's go and get that. And there we go. Light came on and it is reading the panels. It's charging. That is wonderful. All right, everything is set up now. It's charging. It knows it's a lithium battery now, 12 volt. And now the next step, hooking up the inverter. All right, well, we got the batteries and everything hooked up. So now the solar panels are charging the charge controller, which runs to our lithium batteries. Now, excuse my chaotic wiring here. I have a lot of extra wire because I don't want to do a final nice clean wiring until I'm exactly sure everything's working and it's in the space I need it to be in. And so here's our inverter, and now the inverter is going to connect over here to my breaker box. So these little cords right here run out, and now this can go to my generator or to my inverter, and one of these powers my outlets and one of these powers the switches. So now these are hooked up to here. The inverter turns on and now it's running. This is charging. Nice, and still kept a good voltage push at 13.1. The other batteries were causing it to drop down to like below 12, and so we want to keep this up as high as we can and just keep an eye on it. And we're going to make sure that this inverter is a good one that's not pulling too much power. Like I said, it's all trial and error, but so far so good. And now we're going to go check the inside. All right, now that we have the inverter hooked up, let's test out the power. Here's our outside light. All good. Bedroom light. Nice. So power works. Everything's hooked up like it's supposed to be, and now just going to keep an eye on the lithium batteries to see how much power is working. Maybe I'm going to buy more for sure, but now we can at least see where we're at and hopefully have a better idea of how much power we're using, and hopefully they work all through the night because, you know, like I said, keeping cloudy days in mind and things like that. So thank you for joining me as I hooked up the solar today, and now off to jiu-jitsu class.